Prussia's royal journey began with a clever deception, a masterstroke of political maneuvering that would set the stage for its future. In 1701, Frederick III, who was ambitious and determined, wanted to be a king. However, the Holy Roman Emperor wouldn't allow a new king of Prussia, fearing it would disrupt the delicate balance of power. Instead, Frederick cleverly became king in Prussia, a subtle but significant difference since part of Prussia was still under Polish control, making the title less threatening to the emperor. This diplomatic loophole gave Frederick royal prestige without directly challenging the empire's established order, allowing him to elevate his status without immediate conflict. The new title elevated Prussia's status and signaled its ambitions to Europe, making it clear that Prussia was a rising power to be reckoned with. Prussia's rise was built on cunning, not just force, finding loopholes, bending rules, and using language as a weapon. This strategic thinking became a hallmark of Prussian statecraft. The Hohenzollern dynasty now had a crown, and they would spend the next 150 years working tirelessly to make it truly powerful, expanding their influence and solidifying their rule. This calculated move set the tone for Prussian statecraft, patient, strategic, and always looking for the next advantage, much like a game of chess, where every move is carefully planned. The King in Prussia story shows how a well-chosen word could be as powerful as an army, demonstrating the immense power of diplomacy and strategic wording. It was the first of many clever maneuvers that paved the way for Prussia's rise, setting a precedent for future leaders to follow. Sometimes in history, the pen really does set the stage for the sword, and in Prussia's case, it was the beginning of a powerful legacy. Prussia began as a scattered collection of territories, Brandenburg in the west, separated by hundreds of miles from Prussia in the east. These lands were not only divided by distance, but also by culture, language, and even religion, making unity a constant challenge. This patchwork made it incredibly difficult to defend or govern effectively, leaving the state exposed to threats from all sides and vulnerable to the ambitions of larger neighbors. This constant vulnerability drove Prussia's rulers to seek unity and security above all else, shaping their policies and ambitions for generations. Their answer was bold: build a powerful, professional army. Even though Prussia was poor, sparsely populated, and lacking in natural resources compared to its rivals, the state became ruthlessly efficient, channeling every possible resource into military strength. Taxes were high, bureaucracy was strict, and every aspect of life was organized to serve the needs of the army. Civilian life was always second to the needs of the army, with families and communities living under the constant presence of military authority. Prussia became known as an army with a state, not the other way around, a place where military discipline shaped every part of society. The Junker aristocracy, landowning nobles, dominated the officer corps, enforcing strict discipline and unwavering loyalty to the crown and the state. Society was rigid and hierarchical, with obedience and service to the state seen as the highest virtues. From the classroom to the battlefield, discipline was everything. While other nations pursued art, science, and culture, Prussia focused on perfecting military drill and discipline, believing that strength and order would ensure survival. This relentless focus on military power made Prussia seem aggressive and untrustworthy to its neighbors, who watched its growing strength with suspicion and fear. Diplomacy, for Prussia, was often just another extension of military power. Treaties and alliances were tools to strengthen its position or prepare for the next conflict. Prussia's ambition was born from deep insecurity, driving it toward conflict, conquest, and a relentless quest for security and respect among the great powers of Europe. In the centuries to come, Prussia's rise would not only reshape its own destiny, but also redraw the map of Europe itself. King Frederick William I, the Soldier King, transformed Prussia into a military powerhouse. He wore a uniform daily, slashed royal expenses, and poured everything into the army. His obsession even led to the creation of the Potsdam Giants, a regiment of exceptionally tall soldiers. He introduced the canton system, embedding the army into every community and ensuring a steady supply of recruits. Discipline was brutal. Soldiers were drilled relentlessly and punished harshly. The goal? Create troops who obeyed without question, making the Prussian army Europe's most efficient. Ironically, Frederick William rarely used his army in war. He preferred it as a tool of intimidation. He built the sword, but it was his son, Frederick the Great, who would wield it. The Prussian military machine was ready for its moment on the European stage. The next chapter would be written in battle. Frederick the Great seemed a philosopher king. He played the flute, wrote poetry, and admired Voltaire. But beneath the cultured surface was a ruthless opportunist. Within months of taking the throne, he invaded Silesia, exploiting Austria's moment of weakness. The move was bold, violating treaties and shocking Europe. Frederick justified it with flimsy claims, but it was pure ambition. He led Prussia through the War of the Austrian Succession and the 7 Years' War, using both military genius and diplomatic trickery. He made and broke alliances as needed, always putting Prussia first. Treaties were temporary, power was permanent. Under Frederick, Prussia doubled in size and became a major European power. His reign cemented Prussia's reputation for cunning and unpredictability. Enlightenment ideals and cold calculation went hand in hand. Frederick taught Prussia that deception could be as effective as force. After the era of Frederick the Great, Prussia entered a period of complacency and overconfidence, its leaders believing their past glories would protect them from future threats. That illusion was shattered in 1806, when Napoleon's armies crushed Prussia at the twin battles of Jena and Auerstedt, exposing the weaknesses of its outdated military system. The defeat was devastating. Berlin was occupied, vast territories were lost, and the once proud Prussian army was reduced to just 42,000 men by French decree. Prussia's pride was shattered, its people humiliated. But beneath the surface, a quiet determination took root as reformers began to plot a path to recovery in secret. Visionary leaders like Scharnhorst and Gneisenau emerged, determined to rebuild the army from the ground up. They devised the Krumper system, a clever system that trained new recruits in short, intensive waves, quietly creating a hidden reserve force that could be mobilized when the time was right. Military reform was matched by sweeping social change. Serfdom was abolished, the government was modernized, and education was reformed to foster a new sense of national unity and purpose. The goal was to forge a modern, patriotic state, one where citizens would be ready and willing to fight for Prussia's survival and future. All these changes unfolded quietly under the ever-watchful eyes of the French occupiers, who sought to keep Prussia weak and divided. But Prussia was patient, playing the long game, slowly, methodically regaining its strength and biding its time for the right moment to strike back. The humiliation of defeat became the spark for a remarkable transformation, turning despair into resolve and weakness into innovation. When the moment finally arrived, Prussia would be ready to rise again, its army and people transformed, united, and prepared for the challenges ahead. This time, Prussia would return to the stage stronger, more cunning, and more determined than ever before. The army with a state was reborn in secret, its true power hidden from the world until the decisive moment. Prussia's story was far from over. Its people, now united by hardship and hope, looked to the future with renewed determination. The next move would not only change Prussia's fate, but would alter the course of Europe once more. By the mid-1800s, Prussia was strong, but Germany was still divided. Enter Otto von Bismarck, the ultimate political realist. Appointed minister-president in 1862, Bismarck ignored parliament, raised taxes, and reformed the army, regardless of legality. He believed power, not speeches, would decide Germany's fate. Bismarck mastered realpolitik, practical, ruthless, and strategic. He knew unification would require war, but Prussia had to appear the victim. His foreign policy was a series of calculated provocations, always making sure Prussia looked defensive. War was a tool, not a goal, used only when victory was certain. Bismarck's aim: unite Germany under Prussian leadership, whatever it took. He was ready to outmaneuver all of Europe. Bismarck's first move was the Schleswig-Holstein crisis. When Denmark tried to annex Schleswig, Bismarck proposed a joint intervention with Austria. Together, they defeated Denmark, but Bismarck's real target was Austria. He arranged for Prussia and Austria to jointly administer the duchies, ensuring constant friction. Bismarck provoked disputes, making Austria's position untenable. The stage was set for conflict, with Prussia looking like the defender of German rights. Austria was diplomatically isolated thanks to Bismarck's maneuvering. The Danish War was a test run for Prussia's army and a trap for Austria. The fate of the duchies was secondary. The real prize was dominance in Germany. Bismarck's game was just beginning. After the Danish War, Bismarck pushed Austria into a corner over Schleswig-Holstein. He secured Italy as an ally, forcing Austria to fight on two fronts. Bismarck provoked Austria into taking the dispute to the German Diet, then sent troops into Holstein. Austria responded and war broke out in 1866. The conflict lasted just 7 weeks. Prussia's modern army crushed Austria at Königgrätz. Bismarck stopped the king from marching on Vienna, insisting on a lenient peace. Austria lost influence in Germany, but kept its territory, avoiding lasting enmity. Prussia annexed several German states and dissolved the old confederation. Bismarck's deception was complete. He provoked, won, and then reconciled. Austria was out. Prussia was now the dominant German power. The path to unification was clear. Only France stood in the way. With Austria sidelined, Bismarck needed a war with France to unite the remaining German states. The opportunity came with a dispute over the Spanish throne. Bismarck encouraged a Hohenzollern candidacy, provoking French outrage. When the Prussian king withdrew, France demanded a permanent guarantee. The king refused and sent a telegram to Bismarck. Bismarck edited the Ems dispatch to make the exchange sound insulting, then released it to the press. Outrage exploded. France declared war, and the southern German states rallied to Prussia. The Franco-Prussian War was swift and decisive. Prussia captured Napoleon III at Sedan. The German Empire was proclaimed at Versailles in 1871, humiliating France. Bismarck's final deception had unified Germany. Prussia's long game of cunning, manipulation, and force was complete. The kingdom built on a lie now ruled a continent. For more hidden stories, follow our channel and explore our other content.